You know, for the longest time, the business playbook was pretty straightforward. Build a better product, then back it up with better service. But let's be honest, that playbook is, well, it's out of date. The new battleground for brands isn't about what you sell, it's about the feeling you create. It's not about the transaction anymore, it's all about the memory. So welcome to the experience economy, where that memory literally is the product.
So how do we get a handle on this? Well, here's our game plan. First, we're going to nail down what the experience economy actually is. Then, we'll get into the weeds of the service quality gap and figure out why so many companies just can't seem to get it right. Once we've diagnosed the problem, we'll shift to the solution, a solid framework for designing experiences people will actually remember. We'll also talk about getting your own team to bring that vision to life, and we'll wrap up by looking at the new mandate for all of us, co-creating value right alongside our customers.
Okay, this chart right here, this tells the whole story. We started out just trading raw commodities, right? Then we learned to manufacture goods, and then we moved on to delivering services. Each step up was a way to add more value. But that last column, that's where we are today. And look at the words. Our function isn't to deliver anymore, it's to stage. The offering isn't just customized, it's deeply personal. This isn't just semantics, you guys. It's a fundamental shift. You're not just a provider anymore. You're a stager, an experience stager.
So, let's put a pin in it. What is the experience economy? It's an economy where you have to orchestrate memorable events for your customers, and the memory itself becomes the thing you're selling. Just think about that for a second. Your customers are no longer just users or clients, they are guests. And your goal isn't just to make them satisfied, it's to create a positive, lasting memory that they'll want to hold on to. But before we can start staging these amazing experiences, we gotta face a hard truth. Most services are just okay. Some are downright bad, and we need to understand why. Before you can build something great, you have to diagnose why things so often go wrong. So let's look at this disconnect between what a company promises and what the customer actually gets.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're on hold forever with a call center that doesn't help, the delivery shows up 2 days late, the hotel room looks nothing like the pictures online. It happens all the time. But why? Why is it so hard to get service right? This is the core problem every single service marketer is trying to crack. Well, this failure has a name. It's called the customer gap. It's that painful space between what we expect to get and what we feel like we actually got. And this gap, this is where brand loyalty goes to die. And here's the kicker. It's not random. It's the direct result of a chain reaction of failures happening inside the company itself. These internal failures are called the provider gaps. It all starts with the listening gap, when management is just totally out of touch with what customers actually want. Then comes the design gap. Maybe they know what customers want, but they design a system that's guaranteed to fail. After that, you've got the performance gap. The plan might look good on paper, but the employees aren't trained or motivated to actually pull it off. And all of that leads to the final and maybe most frustrating failure, the communication gap. Let's zero in on this one, because this is a classic marketing own goal. This is where your ads are promising this incredible, seamless, amazing experience, but the reality on the ground is just a mess. The perfect example, think of a fast food ad with a huge, juicy, perfect-looking burger, and then you get this sad, flat little thing in a box. That mismatch, that's the communication gap, and it's a huge driver of disappointment. Okay, so we've spent some time diagnosing the problem. Now, let's talk about the solution. How do we get out of this cycle of just trying to avoid failure and start proactively designing for success? It's time to dig into the strategic framework for staging experiences that people actually care about.
To build a great experience, you first have to understand the ingredients. And you can pretty much map any experience along 2 key dimensions. First is customer participation. Is your customer a passive observer, like someone watching a concert? Or are they an active participant, like someone skiing down a mountain? The second dimension is customer connection. Are they absorbing the experience from a distance, like listening to a lecture? Or are they fully immersed, physically a part of the whole thing?
And this is where it gets really cool. When you plot those 2 dimensions on a grid, you get this amazing framework, the 4 realms of an experience. So if a customer is passive and just absorbing, that's entertainment. If they're active while absorbing, it becomes educational. If they're passively immersed, it's aesthetic, like just being in a beautiful cathedral. And finally, when you have active immersion, you get an escapist experience. The very best, most memorable experiences, they usually blend all 4 of these together. This is a powerful tool for creativity.
I mean, look at the Keukenhof flower gardens in the Netherlands. They are masters of this. The sheer beauty of the place, the millions of flowers. That's pure aesthetic. But they also have signs and tours explaining the history of the Dutch bulb industry, so you get an educational hit. Then they have musical acts and water shows. That's entertainment. And for the kids, and kids at heart, there's an interactive maze and a treehouse, a little bit of escapism. By firing on all 4 cylinders, they create something truly special.
So how do you actually do this? Here are 5 practical principles. 1. Have a clear, compelling theme. Think Disney. 2. Use positive cues everywhere to reinforce that theme. Little details that make it feel real. 3. Be ruthless about eliminating negative cues, anything that breaks the spell. 4. Mix in memorabilia so people can take a piece of the memory home. And 5, and this is a big one, engage all 5 senses to make the whole thing stick.
Okay, but here's the thing. A brilliant design on paper is completely worthless without brilliant execution. You can have the best plan in the world, but it will absolutely fall apart if your frontline team, the people actually delivering the experience, aren't on board. And that brings us to maybe the most important audience for any brand, your own employees.
This is a concept called internal marketing. It's about taking all that marketing genius you use on customers and turning it inwards. You have to sell the brand vision to your own people with the same passion and creativity you use externally. Why? It's simple, because they're the ones who have to make that brand promise real day in and day out.
And when you don't do this, you get this massive disconnect. Just look at this example from a health insurance company. To the public, their message was, patient welfare is our #1 priority. But internally, the message to employees was, your main goal is to cut costs to boost our stock price. I mean, come on. That kind of hypocrisy just poisons the well. It makes it impossible for good employees to deliver on the promise.
So let's look at a company that really nailed this. Back in the day, British Airways did some deep research and found a major pain point for their premium flyers. People felt like after a long overnight flight, the airline just took their money and dumped them without a care. They felt abandoned and exhausted right when they needed help the most.
So, what did BA do? They didn't just add a new perk. No, they staged an entirely new experience built around the theme of well-being and arrival. They brought in healthier meals, a sleeper service with dinner in the lounge so you could sleep the whole flight, and the real game changer, arrivals lounges, a place to shower, grab a real breakfast, and get your suit pressed before that big 9 a.m. meeting. They stopped selling a flight and started selling a productive day.
So, did it work? Oh yeah, it worked. This focus on the arrival experience led to a 9% jump in their premium business overall, and on that critical New York to London route, first-class bookings shot up by 25%. This is proof positive that staging a thoughtful, valuable experience delivers a huge return on investment.
But, and this is a big but, the former CEO Sir Colin Marshall said it best. This is not a one-and-done kind of thing. Experiences get old, they get stale. You have to constantly be refreshing and innovating to keep things valuable and interesting. Staging an experience is an ongoing commitment, not a campaign you run once.
All right, that brings us to our final section, where we're going to tie all of this together. Because this whole thing is bigger than just a few marketing tactics. It's really about a new way of thinking about what value even is.
I want you to think about the Mayo Clinic for a second. It's a brand that does very little traditional advertising. So how are they so successful? Simple. Their customer experience is their marketing. An incredible 95% of their patients actively recommend the clinic to other people. Just let that sink in. Every single patient becomes a walking, talking billboard for the brand. They've built an experience so powerful that their customers have basically become their marketing department.
And that, right there, is the ultimate shift in thinking. Value isn't some feature you pack into a product on an assembly line. Value is co-created with your customer. In the moment, they use your service to solve a problem, or, as they say, to get a job done. Our role as marketers is changing. We're not just pushing products anymore. We're becoming essential partners in helping our customers make progress in their own lives.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Whether you're intentional about it or not, your brand is staging an experience every single day, with every single interaction. The only question is it the experience you actually designed with purpose and intent, or is it one that's just happening by accident? Thanks for tuning in.